Good day, Knicks Nation. Coming at you. This is Raw Hebrew Remnant coming at you with another video today. Today, what's on my mind, what's bothering me, and I'm sure it's not just me, is the Knicks, New York Knicks, and their fans' penchant to have a savior syndrome. Yes, a savior syndrome. What do I mean by that? The New York Knicks fans and the team in past years has had this idea that if they could just get this one superstar, that all of the problems that we've had over the last 20 years will be solved. If we could just go ahead and trade the whole team and get Giannis or get even older guys like CP3 or go get James Harden or go get Russell Westbrook or go get Kawhi Leonard, all of our problems will be solved. And let's look at some reality. All right. First of all, players like that that are in their prime and want to win a championship are not coming to a team coming off 20 wins or 17 wins. They're not coming to a team that's in development mode. What you saw with the Toronto Raptors is kind of the formula for that type of situation. Well, what happened with the Toronto Raptors? I'm talking about not this year, but last year. Last year's Toronto Raptors. They had already a good team. They already had a good team. They had developed Pascal Siakam. They had traded for Kyle Lowry, but that was earlier in his career, and he became who he became as an all-star with them. Then you had OG Anunoby, Norman Powell. These players they brought up in their system. Okay. And then once these players began to gel, then they started adding pieces, not championship pieces yet. Championship pieces, but not superstars. They added Serge Ibaka. Okay. They also had Valanciunas at the time, and they were they were a perennial playoff team. They developed DeMar DeRozan. And so now they have a team. At that point, once they had gotten to and if you remember, there are several years they got to the playoffs and would lose, lose in the first round, lose in the second round, and sometimes lose bad. So they needed to tweak. At that point, they had the team. They had developed the squad. So they just needed to add that one chip piece that would get them over the top. That was Kawhi Leonard. Okay. That was Kawhi Leonard. That's how you get a champion from a free agent superstar. And they traded for Kawhi Leonard, but that's how you do it. And here they were again in the semifinals this year. They lost, but again, they're in the same position. So they got to either develop further. You want to get a next step with a Siakam or OG, and you saw them make steps this year, or you're going to have to get another Kawhi Leonard type piece, but they have the team now. Okay. They're not starting from scratch. But what spoiled everybody was the Miami Heat. Okay. Because the Miami Heat, Pat Riley always got them in the conversation of playoffs and then championships. But what happened because of that success that Pat Riley had, he was able to do something that nobody in history was able to do. And what was that? Not only did he get three of the definitely top 10 players in the NBA to come to his team as free agents. But what he did is they all took pay cuts. LeBron, Wade, and Bosh all took less than what they would have got in the market on it with another team to come together to win. Okay, and they won 2 championships. That has never happened because, like I said, players know that there's a limited window as terms of how many years they're going to be able to earn those type of dollars. Matter of fact, if you recall, right after those championships, when LeBron went back to Cleveland, Wade even left Miami. And the issue was he was trying to make up that money that he didn't get when LeBron signed. So he went to Chicago for the 2-year, $40 million deal because he was trying to make up the money. He was mad at them. He ended up getting mad because he thought Pat Riley should pay him for being a good employee and taking that cut. It don't work that way. And he learned that the hard way. He went to Chicago and got more of his bag that he was missing. But so that's a rare thing, but it spoiled everybody into thinking that this is going to be like a trend. Players are going to get their money. Players are going to get their money. All right. That's what they want to do. First, they want to win championships because they're athletes. They're competitive. It's basketball. They want to win, but they're going to get their money. Okay. And yes, the Knicks have money, but they're not going to a losing situation just to get paid. Now you'll get that from your second tier players, which is why we're talking about second tier players. We're talking about Jeremy Grant, Davis Bertans. We're talking about, Mook. Those are second tier players. They're not like top 10 players. And you could get them because they've never gotten a bag like the Knicks could offer. But those are just stepping stones to help develop what you draft. Championship teams develop their best players through the draft. They might get that last piece, Dallas Mavericks, San Antonio Spurs. They develop, look at the Boston Celtics, Eastern Conference Finals. So they got Tatum, Brown, Tice, Marcus Smart, who can't shoot like Frank Ntilikina, but plays excellent defense like Frank Ntilikina. Career 32% three-point shooter, but he starts. And then the Eastern Conference Finals. Why? They just got that final piece, Kemba. That's what they needed. Boom. Now they ready. That's the formula. You can't see. So the reason I bring this up with the Knicks, aside from we always looking for some savior and ready to trade away all our future assets to get such savior, is next year, 2021 season ending free agency. Everybody's looking at Giannis and they're looking at all these big guys. And now, you're going to see, watch, you're going to see players like James Harden, Russell Westbrook, along with Chris Paul. You're going to see them all available. Why are you going to see them available? That's why we're talking about buying Mike Conley. Teams pay these guys this money at the time for a couple of reasons. There's the market value of the guy. And then there's also the possibility or the guy's in a position of his prime to help you win a championship. But once that doesn't happen, now you're stuck with this big money on your books and you got to start over. So all three of those guys, Chris Paul, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, are owed in excess of $40 million per year for the next 2 or 3 years. Then you got John Wall, same thing, 41, 44, 47 million over the next 3 years. Okay. If they don't win a championship, they're just paying out a lot of money. And that's when they're looking for suckers like us to come in and say, please bail us out. Take this off our hands. No. You're not getting a savior in 2021. Giannis is not coming here. I don't care if Nick Nurse is coaching here. He's not coming here. He's looking for a championship. So he's looking for that team that has already built the team that he could be that final piece if he decides to leave Milwaukee, which I don't think he's going to do. Anthony Davis went to LA because what? LeBron. They were talking about New York, but where he signed on dotted line with LeBron. Okay. And he didn't sign for no pay cut either. So that's what we're saying. We need to really stop trying to look for all these big names as if they're going to come in and even if they were, even if let's say you got Giannis. So you get Giannis on the Knicks with a bunch of young players, right? Then what you got to do, you got to surround him with the right players. So you got to trade away all your young players. You got to trade away. And some of y'all talking that foolishness. Trade away Richard Robinson, trade away, RJ Barrett, trade away Knox, trade away Frank, trade away our picks. That's what y'all talking. To what? Cause you got to get him some supporting cast, right? And what you do, all right. So now you're in the championship conversation for like 2 years, maybe. Maybe not even the championship. You're in the playoff conversation for like 2 years. Then what? Then you're done again. You're back where we are now. So you got excitement and that's the thing. I think that's what it is with New York. I think that's what it is. I think New York City is such a city. This year is an anomaly because of this COVID thing. But generally, it's such a city that people get bored very easily and they want something to excite them. Like I heard my man CP on Knicks Fan TV talking about, I'm ready to roll the dice. I'm ready to roll the dice and see what we can get. Let's take chances on our draft picks. Let's roll the dice and take risk for the high upside. And I'm saying, no, let's get safe picks and build a good basketball team and develop good basketball players for the first time since like Walt Frazier played. Develop a good basketball team, develop good basketball players. And then you have a solid core. Then you could get, because they'll want to come. Then when you have that, now you're in the conversation with every free agent. They're going to ask, what about New York? Because they got, so look at Boston. Like I said, they got Tatum, they got Brown, they got Smart. They had a core already. So when Kemba said he was thinking about New York because he's from New York until Boston called. When Boston called, he said that was it. What else to think about? He's going to get max money and he's going to a team that's built for a championship. And he's that final piece. That's the way they all think when they're at that level. Okay. Think about this. First thing we got to do. We shouldn't be thinking to plan for 2021, right? Watch. We should be planning for the next 3 years. That's how we have to think. We should be planning for the next 3 years, not just next year's free agent class. What can we do? What kind of players can we get that in 3 years they can be prepared to carry this team to the Eastern Conference Finals? What can we do? What can we get? And this is what they did. They hired Tom Thibodeau. They hired Johnny Bryant. They hired Walt Perrin. They hired Mike Woodson. They hired these guys that's going to develop the players that we now have, that y'all hate, that y'all talking about. Mitchell Robinson can't shoot and he's only in his second year, 22, he can't shoot. I mean, what could we do to develop the players we now have so that in 3 years, not today, what will they look like in 3 years when they're in their mid to late 20s? That's what you want to talk about. And then you'll have a team that you could talk about trying to get a free agent that's going to be that piece to shoot you over the top. Then you could do that. But right now, you want to think about who we drafting. How can they fit with the players we got? Like some people ask very smart questions. How do they fit with RJ? Smart question. Because you drafted RJ number 3 overall. You got to put all you can to develop this kid into what we believe he could be, which is the next Jimmy Butler, or better than Jimmy Butler will be. I don't understand. How come some of y'all don't understand that? You're looking at Jimmy Butler as a finished product and you're comparing him to RJ at 19. You got to look at RJ in 3 years based on what he can become as he develops. Okay. So never mind 2021. Never mind those big free agents. Let's think about the next 3 years. What are we going to look like in 2024? What are we going to look like in 2023, 2024? That's what we want to see. What are we going to look like in 2025 with the players we now have and who we're going to draft this year? What can those guys become in 3 years? That's where these guys get paid for. That's what these scouts get paid for. That's what these coaches get paid for. They're not getting paid because a guy could jump 48 inches now. No, they're getting paid for what can they do with that guy. When you look at a Cassius Stanley and everybody's high on him, and I understand he's a tremendous athletic freak. That's not why you high on him right now. You're saying, what can I do with that athleticism as a coach to make him a player? And how can that player that I'm going to make fit into what we're trying to do? That's what you're thinking about. See, as fans, you want that big splash. I get it. But see what? I'm trying to tell y'all, we want championships, man. We want championships. I'm finished with the flash, looking at the jewel across the street and trying to snatch it with everything I got. No. Let's build this thing right. Let's build this building from the ground floor. Let's build it solid. Let's build it long term. That's how you do it. Tell me what y'all think.